Hello, folks, and good evening. Welcome to Tales from the TwentySide, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition Let's Play podcast. My name is Dom. I am your Games Master, and I am joined by a whole host of fabulous people today. I'm joined by our regular cast members of Mr. Stu Jackson.
Hello!
Mr. Neil Kelly.
Hello!
Mr. Darren Maffucci.
Hello.
And Miss Amy Chizlett.
Hello.
Hello, and joining us for this very special game that we're going to be running tonight, we have two guests from the Dangerclub Podcast themselves, Mr. Dan Thompson.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
And Mr. James Foxy Lockhart.
Well, hello.
Welcome, folks. Welcome. How are we all? Everyone all right?
No, very good, thanks.
Fantastic.
All right.
I'll be honest, Dom. The only time I get to play 2nd Edition Pathfinder other than GMing it is when you invite me on this show. So I may have gotten a little bit excited.
Yes, Dan certainly is very excited to bring the character that he's got for us tonight. It's going to be interesting. That's all I'm going to say. But for those of you who aren't aware, tonight is just going to be a sort of one-shot game, run by myself with these guys playing, because we are celebrating a whole year of Tales from the TwentySide. We've been doing this podcast for a year now. Can you believe it?
Oh, no. Nice, isn't it?
Yeah. And technically it's our birthday tomorrow because our first episode dropped on the 7th. But as our episodes drop on a Saturday night, that also makes tonight our birthday.
Yes.
And I got some birthday.
It's not actually our birthday, but near enough.
Haven't we only recorded like 2 or 3 of them in person? I can't remember how many we did.
It's not many.
It's not many.
Before lockdown kicked in.
Yeah.
We've definitely done way more over the internet than we have in each other's company. I know that for sure.
Well, I'd say special congratulations just for that, because we found ourselves with the DCP that it's much easier in person, and the fact that you guys have carried on despite everything and now you're celebrating your birthday is amazing. So well done, guys.
Oh, thank you,
really well
James.
done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic achievement. Like, no, very few shows make it to a year, and to do it against the backdrop of all of this, and to have made such a good show, great work.
It shows how completely
Thank you.
stupid we are.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
I think a lot of it's out of spite more than anything else. It's like, no, we will.
Plus 10 to spite.
Oh, you've got beer. I didn't realise we could have beer.
You can have beer.
It's a party, isn't it? I thought it was your birthday party.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a
you can't have a
birthday
birthday party without beer.
I mean,
Having said that, this is, of course, non-alcoholic beer for any purposes of... What is going on?
It's alcoholic Prosecco, I can tell you.
I'm going to go and get a beer.
Do so. Celebrate. My video is just going to flick off in 1
Well,
second.
if he's having one, I'm having one, because otherwise it's not fair.
Everyone get a beer.
we've been going 3 minutes and we've descended into chaos.
I've got to say that there's been a comment on our Twitch from Usher about how absolutely amazing Dan is looking.
There
If I point hang on, that direction, there we go. He is looking absolutely phenomenal.
Hey, Asha.
Has everyone gone to get beer?
Yeah.
You started something.
Already had the beer.
I have water. I'm
Yeah,
sensible.
I have water as well because I have to run the game for you guys. You just have to sit there and play. I've got to actually do some work.
I have to be careful not to drink too much because I'm not channeling Alwyn tonight.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You can't go down the method route tonight, Stu.
Yeah. Or methadone. No. What?
What?
Never mind.
There we go. So we're gonna be getting going with the game very, very shortly. Obviously, once Neil's back as well. Everybody is playing brand new characters, or at least characters that are not our kind of regular, the regular ones that you'll hear on the show. If you do sort of get halfway through this and realise you got to rush off or whatever, I believe Stu is going to put the game out as podcast form as well at some point.
That is the plan.
Does that count with us as well, yeah? so just gotta.
Yes, you'll be able.
Just fill in for me for a bit.
You'll be able to listen to the landslide that killed your characters.
What's that massive shadow appearing around you? Oh, it's a rock from the sky.
Yeah.
But cheers, everyone. Here's to the next year as well.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes.
Ooh,
With my water bottle. Cool. Right then, folks. I think it's probably almost time to get on with the game. So tonight we are playing through an adventure that was originally written for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but I know it well enough that I've converted it to Pathfinder very, very easily. We are playing from the Fantastic Adventures book by Sly Flourish. We are playing the adventure known as Chool.
Jewel. Is it spelled like Hool, but
It's
with
a-
a
it's-
C in front of it?
It's spelled a little bit like Hool, that's correct.
There is only.
So for those of you who don't know, Sly Flourish is an RPG author, writes adventures, writes sort of DM workbooks, all that sort of thing. Fantastic resource. I love this book so much, and it's also where it's actually where we got Star Song Tower from, our very first adventure. If you remember all the way back, we've come full circle.
Nice.
Because Dan was there for that.
I was.
Yeah.
Another different. This is my third character on your show. I've had
is.
more characters on this show than anyone on Danger Club has had. I think.
There we go.
Except possibly Ross. Or do you mean simultaneously?
Yeah, I suppose once you throw in once you throw in Lockdown Legends and the blooming PaizoCon show, everyone had about 6 characters just doing an episode of the Paizo.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well. So before we actually get into the game proper, there is one last bit of housekeeping that I need to get you all to do, which I mentioned earlier, and we decided that we'd do live on stream because it's going to be nice and interesting for everybody, I hope. The first thing I need everybody to do is to generate a fancy hat for their character to wear, because our adventure tonight begins in the Festival of Fancy Hats. It's summertime in Absalom. The streets are filled with people sort of flaunting the latest in high fashion and crazy headwear. If you have a hat in mind for your character, feel free to describe it. If not, I have a fancy hat generator ready to go for you.
It's all about the generators.
I think it's all about the generators.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's all right.
Let's see
Good luck.
what the fates bring us.
All right. So I would like you all. We'll start with Dan, and we'll go clockwise round.
All right.
So Dan, could you please roll 3d10 for me, please?
3d10. All right. Do you want a total or do you want different numbers?
I need individual numbers, please.
Individual numbers. Okay, it's going to be a 10, followed by a 9, followed by a 7. Some high numbers.
Okay. So Dan, your character, Rod Honeybottom, is wearing a top hat that is jingling with bells and has small illusory Pegasi flying around it.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I want that hat.
Really hard to write in these gauntlets. I'm going to try and write it.
Amy, 3d10, please.
Okay. A 0, a 4, and a 0.
Okay, so that's a 10. Amy, your character Ruby is also wearing a top hat. However, your top hat is gilded,
Ooh.
and it's instead of Pegasi sort of flying gracefully around it, it has a small illusion of a devil just sat on top, laughing maniacally.
Love it.
Is it audibly laughing? Can we hear it?
It's very, very faint. You have to be quite close to her to hear it, but it is audible.
Oh, it's going to be creepy.
Annoying.
Yeah. Poor Amy's going to hear that the whole time.
Neil, 3d10, please.
0,
Mm-hmm.
7,
Mm-hmm.
8.
Okay. Once again, Neil, Hool is also wearing a top hat.
I don't do anything but top hats.
There's an accidental theme going on here. I quite like it.
It's very fancy. Very fancy.
Your top hat, Hool, is covered in flowers. Like, you can't even see the fabric. You can see the shape of the top hat, but otherwise it's covered in these lovely fragrant flowers that are very, very pretty. But perhaps a bit disturbing about it, there is a skull just on the front that is laughing.
Are we the bad guys?
Always, Stu.
All right, James, 3d10, please.
Okay, here we go. Boom. I have a 6, a 9, and a 1, so a 16 in total.
6, a 9, and a 1. Okay. So breaking the top hat trend, James,
cool.
Your character Hewlett is wearing a knight's helm with a visor that can be lifted up and down. Has bells attached to it. So every time you lift the visor, a bell rings, and every time you close it, a bell rings again. And your particular knightly helm is ablaze with illusory fire.
Wow.
Wow.
Goodness.
Okay.
Ghost Rider.
So this bell, is it just like a little jingle jangle, or is it like a fire alarm?
It's just
No,
like
it's
a little
actually-
jingle jangle.
It's probably like a little bling. Yeah.
Darren, 3d10, please.
4, 5, and a 6.
Okay. And one more.
4, 5, and a 6,
One
he
more.
said.
Oh, sorry.
4, 5, 6.
I didn't hear that. Okay. So Bronson, Darren, is wearing a hat that is very simple in shape. It is a tall cone, perhaps a foot tall. It has an impossibly large feather, sort of tucked on the side of it, and the hat itself sparkles with arcane magical glyphs in a faint purple colour.
Does it have a big D on the front of it?
If you look carefully, the arcane glyphs do form a D occasionally. And last but not least, Stu, 3d10, please.
Okey-doke. We have a 1 and 2 4s.
Okay. This is perhaps the most ostentatious of the lot.
Of course.
Stu, your character Roach is wearing a tricorn hat, which is gilded, and every 30 seconds or so, it lets off a firework.
My goodness. My goodness.
Take like 1d6 fire damage then.
No. It's all these effects on these hats are purely illusory in nature. There's no danger to anybody.
So what's your stealth rating?
Yeah.
I'm going to creep through the undergrowth.
There we go. So with everybody's hats generated, are we ready to start the adventure, folks?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So it is summertime in the city of Absalom, the city at the center of the world. There have been some strange goings on recently. An earthquake, though minor, ripped across the Isle of Kortos and did quite a lot of damage to the city of Absalom in certain places and some smaller outlying villages. There have also been reports of groups of Pathfinder agents going on missions and vanishing without a trace. A number of these such groups have been investigating sort of damages caused by this earthquake, sort of ancient caves that may or may not have ancient caves that have been opened up as a result of this earthquake. But today, none of that matters to any of you. Today, you are free to relax and enjoy yourselves as it is the annual festival of fancy hats in Absalom. The streets are lined with all sorts of festivities. There are people from all over the world and all shapes, sizes, colours, and creeds, coming together to share in this festive revelry, festive fashion-based revelry, and you see an absolute smorgasbord of wondrous fancy hats similar to your own. And this is where we bring ourselves in. The 6 of you are enjoying your day at the Festival of Fancy Hats, and you are aware that as part of the festivities, there is an event known as the Hat Joust, in which two competitors face off against each other with a view to seeing who can knock their opponent's hat off whilst trying to defend their own. So the question is, what would you guys like to do?
Well, Roach would like to have a go at this joust, definitely.
All right. Roach wishes to participate in the hat joust. Anybody else?
Just a quick question. So were we together as a group already and a bunch of adventuring friends?
I mean, it's up to you if you guys know each other. I mean, in terms of proximity, the 6 of you are kind of milling around together as it currently is.
Okay.
Well, actually, I suppose we should probably go around and introduce everybody's characters. That's the bit I always forget. So we see this group of six individuals, quite a motley assortment, standing by the ringside of the hat joust. So again, starting with Amy and working clockwise. Amy, what do we see?
You see Ruby, who is just sitting down, telling dad jokes to the devil on her hat because she likes the laughter back, and it makes her feel like her jokes are good.
There we go. And sort of nearby to Ruby, sort of talking to the devil on her hat. Neil, what do we see?
We see Hul, who's an androgynous half-elf, and Hul is just milling around.
Okay, just sort of taking in the atmosphere, wandering around a little bit.
and not paying too much attention to the laughing skull on the front of my fine-looking top hat, which is covered in flowers.
And as you're sort of mingling through the crowd, Hul, you pass another individual. James, what do we see?
So you pass a Yosoki, so a rat folk. He's a long snout rat, so he's got a very long nose, and he's dressed in sort of simple leather armor. But over the top, he's got a little tweed jacket, a little tiny bow tie, and he's got various packs and bundles and things like that, and a little dueling cape in matching tweed, and this flaming knight's helm atop his head. And he's looking suspiciously at the crowd from left to right, and as he does so, his nose seems to be sniffing the air, and as it does, it visibly moves, sort of like that. And that's Hewlett.
There we go. And as your nose is sort of scouting the air for you, it catches a particularly noticeable scent, and you look over towards it. And Darren, what does Hewlett see?
He sees Bronson, a half orc, who is picking his nose and wearing a hat that he stole from a village idiot that he bashed.
Okay, and sort of standing near to Bronson with his pilfered hat. Stu, what do we see?
You see a quite tall hobgoblin wearing studded leather armor, with he's got blackened fingers. He's got bits of soot across his face, streaked across his face. He's carrying what appears to be a couple of long metal tubes with bits of wood stuck on them. He's trying to look as inconspicuous as he possibly can as these fireworks are firing out the top of his head.
Fantastic. And because I deliberately left him to last, knowing what we've got. Dan, what do we see?
marching into the area where everybody is a figure. He is about a foot tall. He appears to be a bumblebee. But he is clad entirely in black armor covered in spikes. He's riding atop of an adorable, fluffy-looking corgi, upon the back of which is fluttering the banner of Cheliax and the heraldry of the Hell Knights of Cheliax. As he looks out from his visor, on top of which is a top hat with bells and Pegasus.
I mean, it is the festival, so even Death Knights can get on the action. Yeah.
Oh, he is a servant of absolute law, and it is the law that everyone celebrates Fancy Hat Day, and so he is absolutely complying with this. Rod Honeybutt surveys everything. He will indeed join this joust.
There we go.
Brilliant.
So with our cast of characters revealed, the ringmaster sort of overseeing these hat jousts, and you've seen that there have been a few bouts beforehand, and she steps forward, quite a tall, imperious-looking human woman, dressed in the coattails of a traditional circus ringmaster, and she calls out to the crowd, last call for this afternoon's final hat jousting round. Last call. Any takers? Anybody at all?
Yes, I will joust. Me. They sort of stick his hand up.
Yeah.
Me over here. Oh, me. Hello.
Yes, you, the rat folk. Yes, all right.
Yes.
Step forward. Anybody
Detective
else?
Edgeforth for you. Good.
Detective
Yes.
I'll beat anyone, especially fucking magic users. I hate fucking magic users.
Well, I am no magic user. I merely use criminal science. Yes.
I'll
Good.
still beat you anyway.
Fair. Challenge accepted.
The tiny Hell Knight rides up on his corgi and kind of tugs on her coattails.
She looks down, and you see she does a visible double take as she sees this little knight riding atop a corgi.
The tiny Knight, he kind of slowly lifts his spiky visor up, and there's
Rod Honeybutt will join in the joust. He will crush all in the name of the Hell Knights of Cheliax. All will fall before the might of the twice damned throne.
and then the visor kind of falls shut again.
I'm looking forward to 3.5 hours more of that voice. That's very good. Face of the party right there.
You can see as you sort of scream this at her, Rod. She blinks for a second, takes a small flask out of her jacket, takes a big swig from it, puts the flask back, and looks down and says to you, "All right, that's 3 of you in the joust. Any other takers? Anyone at all?" And you can
Yes, Hull will play.
All right. You can see that there is some interest from the other individuals in the crowd as well. There's a few people sort of putting their hands up and coming in to start it up. It looks like there's probably a total of about 10 people here who are all going to be taking part. Ruby and Bronson, are you looking to get involved, or are you just happy to spectate?
Yeah, no. Bronson finishes picking his nose, flicks it, and it lands in someone's drink. He goes, "I want to fight the little one on the back of the dog."
Yes,
Says the big.
Nice. And Amy, is Ruby getting involved, or is she content to spectate?
Ruby is more than content to watch what's about to unfold.
No worries. All right. So you all step forward to the ringmaster, who begins to divide everybody into pools. You see, she produces a bunch of small sticks from within her robe, and she sort of mixes them all up and sort of offers sticks out to all of you, which you drawing your respective matches for the for the joust. So Bronson, you are paired up with Rod as you requested. Roach, Hewlett, you are paired up with Roach as you hoped as well, perhaps.
Good, yes.
Hool, you are drawn with a sort of an older-looking gentleman who has a big, long white beard and a bald head. But you can kind of see that this guy lifts. Like, his shoulders are broad, his legs look very stocky, and he looks like he's a seasoned wrestler himself. Yes, with all the bouts prepared, and the ringmaster sort of claps her hands together and calls out, "All right, the first bout, the half-orc and the rat man."
Detective. Very
Actually, what wasn't I going to be fighting the rat man?
Of course, yes. Sorry, I got my sticks mixed up.
Detective.
I got my eyes on you.
The hobgoblin and the rat man.
Yeah. I've got my eyes and my nose upon you.
Call me a fucking orc. I hate fucking orcs. To which the answer is don't fuck orcs. But,
Good.
All right, contestants, if you're prepared, please step forward. She ushers you to step into the ring itself. You see the ring is kind of like a sand pit, about 30 feet. It's 60 feet in diameter, with like a ring of rope kind of laid out around the outside. And she ushers both of you into the center.
Very well. Hewlett strides forward. He's got his walking cane sort of in his hand, and stands and sort of flaps the little Julian cape off his shoulder. I'm ready.
and,
I detect a whiff of defeat about you.
Roach unslings one of the metal sticks from his back, quite deftly and quite quickly, with a little bit of a spin, and pops a little paper cone in the top, and seems to shove something in a hole in the end.
Very well. Could I make a roll to see what that is? I investigate. Or we haven't started yet?
Absolutely.
Very well. And I would like to make what would it be, do you think?
I'd say it's probably going to be a crafting roll to see what you know about this object.
Crafting, very well. Let us see. Ooh, not very much. 12.
This whatever this object is, it looks thoroughly exotic.
I see.
You've never seen one of these things before.
Fascinating. Very good. With a zing, he sort of whips out his sword cane. I'm ready to begin.
All right. The ringmaster sort of sets you both on either side of the ring, and sort of stands in the center with a handkerchief raised to the sky. All right, contestants. When this handkerchief hits the floor, you may begin. Remember, the goal here is not to harm your opponent, merely to get the hat off from their head. The first person to do so and raise their opponent's hat to the sky will be the winner of the bout. Ready? And
yes.
Begin. She drops the handkerchief, which flutters to the ground and lands softly in the sand. Hewlett and Roach, please roll initiative.
Initiative.
Oh shit! 12.
Oh. So when I said I was ready, I clearly was not. Hewlett is admiring his sword cane in the light shimmering up and down the blade, and thinking, yes, pondering things, and gets a 9. That would be a natural one on the die.
Right. So,
Ready?
This is probably a good time to ask. Actually, do we get hero points in this game?
yes, you all have 1 hero point, which you can choose to use over the course of this evening.
Okay. Probably better to save it for something where it might actually be useful.
Yeah, I mean, good. It looks like you're going to knock my hat off. You really want, but yes.
All right. So, getting the drop on Hewlett. Roach, you are acting first. how would you like to proceed? So currently the two of you are about 40 feet apart, and there's sort of 10 feet between you and the edge of the ring.
Okay, if we are 40 feet apart, I will very simply like to take aim and with this metal tube and pull a trigger aiming at the hat. This is my flintlock musket.
Roll an attack for me, Roach.
Ooh, that's pretty good. 28.
28. What's your AC, Hewlett?
Oh, my AC, sorry, 28. Definitely going to hit. That's an AC of 19.
19. Oh, okay.
Oh, almost for it.
Okay. So as you sort of loose off this shot expertly, that Roach, you've barely even finished loading the pistol, and before you've flicked it round and fired off the shot, there is a ping, Hewlett, as a small metal ball bounces off your helmet. Give me an. This will be just a straight dexterity roll, please, Roach.
Oh, Roach, me.
Roach, oh.
Okay.
And then, Hewlett, what's your...
Shit, natural one. For 5. Do you know what? I'm going to use my hero point. Fuck it.
Hey,
I'm determined to win this.
right now.
Oh, slightly better. 9. No, 13. Sorry.
13. And Hewlett, what is your reflex DC?
My reflex DC, do you mean my reflex score?
Yes, your score plus 10.
My score plus 10, 20.
20. Oh, it's not enough, Roach. You do knock the hat a little bit loose, but you see Hewlett is able to kind of take the most of the blow from that shot. But that was your first action, Roach. What? You've got 2 left.
I'll reload.
Uh-huh.
For the second action, and with the third action, I will try and fire again. Obviously, I'm minus 5. 14. No.
What's your AC, Hewlett?
My AC is 19.
Okay, and this time the shot actually goes wide. You try to sort of clip the top of it to get some more leverage, but the bullet passes over his head and sort of thuds into the wooden beams surrounding
To a
him.
spectator.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. End of your turn, then, Roach. We are round to Hewlett.
Very good. Well, Hewlett, having seen, he's been observing and standing stock still as these shots have been whizzing past him and off his hat, and he devises a stratagem to defeat this foe. So I come up with a plan. So I'm going to roll my die and see if it's something I want to use for my first attack. It's a natural 20. He comes up with this plan. Yes, it's going to be a good plan. However, I'm not sure I can get to you. It's 40 feet apart, we say.
Yes, you're 40 feet apart from each other.
Okay, good. Is there a charge mechanic in this? Where I can use double movement and then hit? I don't believe there is in the second
It's a
edition.
feat that fighters get. Yes, sudden charge is a feat that fighters and barbs can get.
Very well. Well, I don't have that. So, I would like to use... So, would it be 25 feet per action?
What, to move? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, I'm going to use 2 of my actions to move up to... He skitters across the sand and sort of raises his point high, and then when he goes to scoop the hat with the point of his sword cane off the head of this man beast, whatever it is. So that's a natural 20 on the die, plus just go to here we go. So plus 8, so that's 28.
28 on a natural 20. Very nice.
Are you using the crit cards, Dom?
Do you know what? Let's use the crit cards. I will see what
Hang on,
we
this is
draw.
against me. What am I saying?
No, we can use the crit cards, Stu. That's very nice of you.
I mean,
Decapitate! Yay!
I do keep them immediately to my left, so they're always within easy access. So yeah, we'll absolutely use them. Let's see what we get.
Regular listeners to Tales from the 20Side, where we've had pauses where Dom has had to go get his cards, will know this is a lie.
Yeah. Now I have them ready. Okay. Let's see how this goes. All right. Because this doesn't really work for like a friendly contest. The card I drew was missing digits. In theory, Hewlett has just severed a bunch of fingers from Roach's hand. But
let's see you load your tube now.
What I'm going to say is, Roach, let's have a reflex saving throw, and I'm going to bring in a 5e mechanic. You're going to do so with disadvantage.
Yay. Reflex saving throw is 24.
24, okay.
Is that with disadvantage? Did you roll twice?
Oh, sorry, that disadvantage on me. Yeah. Oh shit, natural 1.
That's better. Good.
The rest of you watch as this Yusoki Hewlett just skitters across the sand, deftly drawing his sword as he does so, and with a single flick, you feel your hat is knocked from your head, Roach. It lands with a thud in the sand. There's a cheer from the crowd.
Fucking rat.
I'd say well fought, but it wasn't. So never mind. He sheathes his sword and proudly sort of walks out. Do I get to keep the hat? What are the rules?
The circus master says, well, it's if you wish to wager the hats, you can do so. Obviously, it is still the festival. Everybody still needs a hat, so perhaps you could come to an arrangement with the gentleman afterwards.
What was your hat?
It is a tricorn gilded hat that fires fireworks out every few moments.
Perfect for a detective. Perfect.
And in fact, with that in mind, as your tricorn hits the floor, Roach, it chooses that moment to let off a firework.
To the crowd.
Into your face.
Very well. Well, we'll come to an arrangement after the fight. Come this way. Good,
Right.
well fought.
So the two of you,
Waves to the crowd.
the two of you exit the arena, and the ringmaster sort of calls up. All right, next bout we have the half orc and the tiny bee thing.
I am a sprite!
Of course you are, my dear. Of course you are. All right. Well, places, please, places. And she ushers you both forwards.
Rod rides proudly out upon his corgi and lowers his visor again, salutes with a great morning star, gives it a twist of the handle, and spikes pop out of them all over it.
Fantastic. All right.
Just takes his spot, scratching his arse, and says, "All right, come on then, let's be having you."
All right. So you take your places. Once again, the ringmaster gathers her handkerchief up and drops it to the ground. I'd like you both to roll initiative, please.
That's not great. That's a 12.
I just rolled a natural 20.
28. There we go. So Bronson, despite seeming disinterested and distracted, you spring into action the nanosecond that handkerchief hits the floor. What would you like to do?
Okay. I'm going to 40 feet apart, you say?
Yes.
So I'm just going to stomp up to the little fella and just try and take the hat off his head with my hand.
All right. Make an athletics roll for me, Bronson.
You are no match for me, big man!
19.
19. Rod, what's your reflex DC?
Reflex DC is only 15.
15. Okay. So you watch this half-orc come stomping towards you, Rod. You scream defiantly at it, and he just reaches down and picks you up by the head and lifts you off the ground. Rod, you are currently grappled.
Oh my god, little legs. Just...
So, Bronson, that's 2 actions. You've got 1 left. You have this little sprite man in your hand.
Can I just attempt to take the hat?
Absolutely. Let's hold
it up.
Let's have a straight strength roll, please.
Under ability scores.
There we go. Am I adding the 3 or the 16?
The 3.
The 3.
12. Add the 6.
Level 3. 16.
12 was it, Bronson?
Yeah.
Okay. And Rod, what's your reflex DC?
Reflex DC is still 15.
Still 15. Oh, sorry. Of course, I did ask you that just now. So yeah, you lift the sprite off the ground off his corgi, Bronson, and you're trying to wrestle his hat off. But this thing's actually a bit stronger than it looks. Rod manages to clamp down on the hat and pulls it. You're trying desperately to rip it out, but you can't quite get there.
Stay still, you little fucker.
Rod, we're round to you.
Behold, it is your final mistake.
Rod drops the Morning Star and attempts to sort of judo throw his opponent over his shoulder.
I really want this to work.
All right, let's have an athletics roll there, Rod.
That's an 18.
All right, I think that's going to beat your reflex DC, Bronson.
That's my reflex plus 10, isn't it?
It is, yes.
19.
Oh!
So close.
Hero points are an option.
Just burn the hero points in the hack competition.
It's really weird, Bronson. Like, you feel this tiny little thing moving your body against your will. For a second, you start to panic, like, what the fuck is going on? And then you set your feet and you kind of reaffirm your grip, and you just manage to stay on your feet as this tiny thing tries to throw to the floor. Rod,
you're quite strong for a little one.
Even physics can defy the God Claw.
Rod is going to try and climb up onto Bronson's arm and run up his arm to hit him in the face. Sprites have a reach of 0, so sprites have to be in the same square as their opponent in order to fight them. So they're basically swarm.
Nice, that's great. All right, Zant. Rod, if you could give me either acrobatics, athletics, or an unarmed strike.
Ooh, that is definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be an unarmed strike because I'm trained in that. That's a 24.
24, yeah. You easily twist yourself free of Bronson's grip. You find yourself on his arm, and you sprint up towards his face. Roll an attack for me.
Oh my goodness. This is it's a 3 on the die. That's only going to be a 12.
Oh, 12. I think that misses your AC, doesn't it, Bronson?
Yeah, it's 20.
It does. This tiny little sprite in full plate armor rushes up your arm and sort of goes to just thump you in the face, but he hits the really bony part of your forehead. And it sort of bounces off as he does so. Bronson, we're back round to you.
I'm gonna pull him off my face, and again, just try and take his hat off his head.
All right. So
I don't want to work the little fella.
Let's have an athletics roll, please, Bronson.
Okay, that's a 1.
You leaving as a 1?
1. Well, with my athletics, it's a 9.
All right. Okay. You go to grab Rod, but he's too quick for you. He scurries on top of your head and starts just pounding on you with his little fist.
Clash
2 actions
of
left.
Titans.
And try again if you like.
Yeah, I'm just going to reach up and try and get the out off his head again.
Let's have another athletics roll.
15.
15. This time you do manage to get hold of Rod, and you sort of pull him bodily off your head, and you go to take the hat off. Let's have one last athletics roll, Bronson.
I've got to say, pulling Rod off.
Oh no!
Hey, oh.
Somebody had to.
We all thought it.
What was the roll?
19.
19. Okay. And with that, Rod, sort of wrestling and writhing in Bronson's hand, he pops another hand onto your head and lifts the hat off and raises it to the sky.
No, my tiny hat!
All right, and once again, the crowd erupts into cheers. You see people exchanging money. People had been obviously taking bets in places. Some people look happy, some people look sad with the outcome, but everybody seems to still be having a very good time. Whilst all this is going on, go on, Bronson. Sorry.
Bronson would like to give him his hat back and hold out his hand for a handshake and say, "I like you. You've got some fight in you."
Rod takes the hat, says,
You are a mighty opponent! I salute you!
and then raises the Morning Star and nods. And bows to him.
There we go. All right. So as you exchange your pleasantries and sort of give each other the respect you think they deserve, Ruby, whilst all this has been going on, you've kind of been sat patiently waiting, just to kind of enjoy the atmosphere and all that sort of stuff. And as you're kind of sat there watching this last bout, as Bronson victoriously raises Rod's hat from his head, you feel a tug at your sleeve.
Oh, who's this?
You turn around and you see, sort of still with a hand on your arm, Ruby. You see that there is a halfling standing there, who looks very, very dishevelled. His clothes are torn, his face is dirty, his hair is a mess. And you notice 2 things immediately. The first is that he stands out because he does not have a hat like everybody else in this festival does. And the second thing you notice almost immediately after is that his skin is translucent. You can see his veins pulsing under his skin, and his muscles tightening as he moves them.
Oh.
And he looks at you as you see him, and he says, "I have found it. A wonderful temple filled with the greatest joy we can hold in our hearts. Please, you must come with me right away. Bring everyone you can. It's so, so beautiful." And he affirms his grip on your sleeve, Ruby, and he starts trying to drag you away from the arena.
Oh, okay. With him being translucent, would I have any idea on what that could be?
You can give me a perception roll.
Okay. 16. 16.
Okay. Yeah, you notice that in addition to it being translucent, it's the skin itself is wet and very, very clammy. But you've not really come across anything like this before.
Okay. What temple? What are you talking about?
This way, come. I'll show you. Like I say, it's a wonderful place with the greatest joy we can all hold in our hearts. Please come with me now. And he's getting quite indignant and trying to drag you away from the arena.
I'm going to stand my ground. I am not going to this temple. Tell me what it is.
All right. As you attempt to resist Ruby, you see the smile on his face goes from this broad beaming smile he had to a look of desperation, and then after a moment to a look of anger. And he looks at you and he says, why won't you come? You must come. And at that point, he pulls a small club from his side and he attacks you with it. I would like everybody to roll perception, please.
I was going to say, could I roll perception to see if I see this?
Are we rolling initiative or perception?
Initiative.
Okay, thank you.
I am fascinated by this hat.
It is different.
Roll a 1.
19.
9.
16.
Great detective.
18.
24.
Oh, only a 10.
I'm loving that character.
So, Rod, what was your score?
10.
10 for Rod. Ruby?
16.
Very nice.
Is this halfling talking to me in halfling or common?
In common.
Okay.
Okay, Hool?
19.
19. Hewlett?
I am so perceptive. Nothing passes me by with a 9.
All right. Bronson?
24.
24 for Bronson. And Roach?
18.
18 for Roach. All right. Roll some dice myself. There we go. Okay. All right. So going to be acting first is going to be Bronson. As you come out of the ring with this with Rod in tow, sort of shaking his hand, congratulating him. You look over and you see Ruby, who you whether you knew her beforehand or not, I don't know. But you've certainly seen her watching. You might have chatted to her a little bit. You see a halfling sort of tugging on her sleeve, and you see him raising a thick wooden club towards her. What do you do?
I stomp over there and I ask the halfling, what's all this then?
Okay, is that all you're doing with your turn?
That's all I'm doing.
That's all you're doing, okay. Okay, end of your turn. We're around to Hool. So Hool, as you've been preparing for your bout in the hat joust, you also see this happen. You see this halfling raising a club towards the human woman known as Ruby, and you see Bronson, the half orc, stomp over to sort of demand what's going on. What do you do?
Well, it all seems to be in hand. I think I'll go and play the hat game.
All right, you spend your turn preparing for the hat joust.
Bronson seems to have it covered.
Priorities.
And I'll prepare for the hat game by taking out my sling and loading it, my slingshot and loading it.
Okay, no worries. All right. So end of your turn then, Hool. It is, and I can't read what I'm writing. I think it's Roach next. 18.
With an 18, yeah. Young ladies getting dragged away at festivals is not a good thing. How far away are they from Roach?
From Roach, I mean, you'd finished your fight, sort of went off to go and relax. I'd say they're not super far, maybe 60 feet.
60 feet. So I will use 3 actions to get up to them, saying,
Hey, better leave the young lady alone.
Right, okay. You move up to reinforce Bronson and talking to this halfling. End of your turn, Roach. It is Ruby.
I think I can handle this by myself, and I am going to try and break the halfling's grip off my arm.
All right.
Because you try and break his arm, then.
Well, he's only a kid.
with your axe, you break it through his head.
So, Ruby, give me either an athletics check, acrobatics check, or an unarmed strike.
I'll give you an acrobatics check, of which I rolled a 27.
I'm muted. 27. That actually is going to be a critical success there, Ruby.
So you are going to break his arm.
Yes. Plan all along.
You expertly twist your arm free from his grip. You basically get out of that easily, and you can actually move as part of that action if you want to.
Okay, cool. I will take a step back and put my draw my rapier. And just you need to explain yourself.
All right, you move to defend yourself. Absolutely. All right. So at the end of your turn, it is the halfling's turn, who sort of looks at you. He looks at you all with a hint of anger, but as also noted, Ruby, there's a bit of desperation in his eyes as well, and he looks at you, and he looks at Bronson and at Roach, who have come to your aid, and he says, "You don't understand. You must come with me right now." And he's going to make a strike towards the nearest person, who is going to be Bronson. Okay. That's a 26 to hit, Bronson.
Oh yeah, that definitely hits.
It's Magnet Bronson.
Okay.
Who else would he hit?
You take 5 points of bludgeoning damage, Bronson, as he strikes you with sort of a wooden club. It seems to be wrapped in leather. You get the sense that this is a weapon known as a sap, which is designed to immobilize rather than kill. But that's one action. His second action, he's going to strike you again. You see, he just starts to wail on you, Bronson. But his second two strikes, he hits you once, and the third and the last two strikes, he goes in, but you're able just to block those attacks easily enough. That's the end of his turn. It is Rod.
Rod would like to use one action to dig through the ditches, then another to burn through the witches, and a third action to slam in the back of the halfling's Dracula.
I like that. Robbie attack.
So the camera pans in on Rod as he sits atop his corgi, and his eyes narrow behind the visor.
Not only is he assaulting a woman, not only is he attacking people at the festival, he is not wearing a hat!
And the flames seem to rise up behind. The camera snaps in. The corgi looks into the camera with just joy and total innocence. And then he spurs forward. So I'm going to use one action to activate my corgi familiar, which gives it two actions to give me 80 feet of movement. Because I've got basically no movement myself. Corgi.
Nice.
How far is he from me?
Probably a similar distance to where Roach was, so 60 feet.
Cool, that's fine. So you're going to move up. I'm going to move up 40 feet to begin with. And then once I'm within 40 feet, I'm going to use an action. I'm going to point my Morning Star at them, which crackles with dark energy. And I'm going to cast Phantom Pain on the halfling.
Ooh, okay. What does Phantom Pain do?
Phantom Pain, he's racked with terrible pain. He must make a will save.
That is a 2. No.
This poor child.
That's a critical failure for the child. The poor young halfling takes 2d4 mental damage. So that is takes 3 points of mental damage, and he takes d4 persistent damage, and is sickened 2.
Ooh, okay.
The persistent damage endures until his sickened condition ends. So So until he's able to vomit up enough to stop being sickened.
Yeah. All right.
Racked with terrible pain. And then with the last action, Rod moves up next to him, glaring.
Okay. So yeah, as you rush forward, Rod, this halfling. Do you know what? I'm just gonna. You see his grip tightens on his sap. His knuckles go white, and his hands sort of rush to his head. Ah!
Yes, suffer for your crimes. Respect the hats.
Okay. So at the end of Rod's turn there, it's Hewlett.
So Hewlett finally notices that something's awry, and sort of following his nose, he uses movement to walk over. He doesn't engage. He's just sort of looking at the halfling. Can I make a what would it be to try and work out what's wrong with him? If I've seen anything like this before.
To work out what's wrong with him, it's going to be a medicine roll.
Okay. I think it's not bad. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. So with your dirty 20 there, Hewlett, you know that, like as soon as you look at this guy, whatever has happened to him hasn't happened naturally. You're not totally sure of the source. There are stories. There are old stories about individuals coming into contact with beings not of this world that leave them with afflictions similar to this. But beyond that, you're not certain exactly what's happened.
Curious. And he just he observes rather than anything else, just in the background.
Okay. All right. You spend.
He's there.
Yeah, he's happy to be here.
Yes, he's happy finally.
Cool. So yes, Hewlett takes a moment to sort of observe the scene, think about what he knows, and then just takes a break. So back to
phrase it like that. Has a sandwich, has a little cup of tea.
We are back to the top of the round. It is Bronson.
Can I use intimidating prowess?
I think you can. So that lets you, I believe that lets you make an intimidation check with performance. Is that correct?
You flap your weapon around or something, isn't it?
In situation.
Like performative dance.
Sort of, yeah, but you just sort of like, like the guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark where he does his sword stuff, like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of business.
Okay.
I don't know if I can use that just to get him to stop and tell us what the fuck he's playing at.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say you can certainly try that. Yeah, give me an intimidation roll. You can add your strength modifier to it.
Just to be rules lawyery about it, intimidating prowess gives you a +1 to intimidation in Bronson's case.
Oh, I see. I've not used it before, so I didn't realise that.
To coerce or demoralise.
Okay,
so 29 in total.
Yeah, sure. So tell us what kind of display you're doing to kind of shake this guy's resolve.
I'm just gonna say to him, listen, you, behave yourself and tell us what's going on, or I'll pin you down and do my business in your face. And I've been eating nothing but curried turnips for the last 4 weeks.
That's a throwback.
And I pictured Bronson saying that whilst doing the Macarena. Just sort of like, curried turnips, mate, that's right.
Fantastic. That's great. So yeah, you absolutely do so. Bronson, as you scream this into his face, you see, you do see fear in his eyes, but you also see this same desperation. And he says to you, I'm sorry, I can't. And you get the sense, Bronson, that his actions are not his own.
Okay. I don't know what to do then.
All right.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Okay. End of your turn, Bronson. We're round to Huel.
Dude is ready to enter the tournament. A hat is at stake. I'm taking no interest in this little kerfuffle. I'm more interested in winning this tournament.
All right. You sort of set yourself up in the ring, waiting for your opponent to present themselves. Yeah. And you can see that the ringmaster itself it seems a bit distracted by this commotion that's going on in the crowd. But you wait patiently for your opponent.
I will wait patiently.
Roach, we're on to you.
Okay, seeing all this going on, seeing this half-orc intimidating this child, and this bee nearly killing it, he is going to say, like,
hang on, it's a fucking child. I hate fucking kids, but it's a child. Bee, stop fucking killing him. You, orc, fucking stop. All right, kid, I'll go with you. Where do you want to go?
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, no, sorry, it's not. Get back.
See, no, I'm not sorry. I don't mean thank you.
He kills me instead. Yeah.
The child lops off your head.
Not thank you. I'm not grateful.
Is that all you're doing with your turn, Roach?
I would also like to draw and prepare the musket.
Sure, you can do that easily enough. End of your turn, Roach. It's for Ruby.
Okay. I'm going to try a different tactic and talk to the child in halfling. Just say, can you tell us what it is that you need us to do? Like, what is this temple? Where do you need to take us? Why are you so urgent? Lots of questions.
All right. So that's going to end your turn, Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
We're back round to the halfling, and as you say all this to him, he sort of looks most pointedly at you, Roach, and he says, "Really?" And as you say this, you see his face sort of softens and lights up again. Excellent. Come with me, all of you. You must come with me now. It's such a great place. You'll be so happy there. You must see it.
Yeah, don't be a fucking dick about it.
And you see, he moves to you, Roach, and he starts tugging you on your sleeve and starting to lead you away from the arena.
Okay. I mean, Roach will allow himself to be led.
All right. So that is going to bring us out of combat, unless anybody wants to do anything in particular. You see this halfling, sort of still clutching his head as he does so, starts to lead Roach away.
As this happens, Hewlett pipes up from the back and says, "It's clearly a trap. You know this, yes?"
I mean, Rod, what's the persistent damage on Phantom Pain?
It is. It's 2d4 per round until he stops being sick. Until he manages to shake.
Oh my god!
Okay,
come this way. Come to the temple. There.
The rest of you watch as this halfling is leading Roach away. His hand sort of still on his head. He takes about 5 steps and pitches forward face down into the ground.
Oh no.
That's quite a thing you have there, B. And Hewlett rushes forward to examine the child.
Examine him
closely.
Don't look too excited.
Yes, but I am. I smell crime. I smell a case. The case of the translucent child.
I wonder who could be behind this.
I mean, I clearly know who the murderer is. Could be anyone. What would it be? Sort of perception, maybe, or I've already done a medicine check. Maybe an occultism check to see what sort of if there's any magic involved.
Oh, do you know what? You can give me an occultism roll.
Okay, maybe it's magic. I tell you what. It's a 2 on the die, so maybe it's an 11.
No idea.
I smell nothing.
Well, Roach would like to perform battle medicine on the child.
Battle medicine.
Always makes me think
So as as part of your inspection of him, Hewlett, you do kind of see tucked into pouch. You can see that he is carrying a journal of some sort, little leather-bound diary.
Who saw that?
Hewlett did.
A journal, a clue. He grabs the clue, sniffs it, and then he starts to read.
Okay.
Ignoring the child completely.
I love how Hewlett's got a prehensile nose that kind of.
He does, because he's a long snout, Yosoki, so he's got a big long nose. It's sort of. That's sort of.
An anteater.
Yeah, well, not quite that much, but yeah. Always follow your nose, except when you're an anteater. So and then he starts to read the journal, confident that the battle medicine being applied is effective.
So let's have a medicine roll from Roach, please.
Which is not the party healer, so you know. Just saying.
Yeah, he'd be fine.
Oh yeah, he is actually 18.
Yeah, you do. You are able to save to stop this halfling from dying. Key question here, Roach: are you restoring him to consciousness?
Well, if that's an option, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. You do so.
But he does get 1 point of healing back.
Good to know.
Not the party healer.
So, Hewlett, as you're starting to read through this journal, you watch the Hobgoblin Roach step up and apply some medicine to this halfling. His eyes flicker open.
I wouldn't bring him back to consciousness. No.
His eyes flicker open, and he looks at you, and he puts a hand to his head, and he says, "Oh, my head, that really hurts. Come on. Yes, I remember now. You're coming to the temple, right?" And you see he springs back to his feet and grabs hold of your sleeve, Roach, and starts to drag you along once again.
Roach will let himself be taken along. He wants to see what's in the temple.
All right.
Well done, you make a fine patsy.
I don't know what a patsy is, but I fucking hate them.
Well, you make a fine one, my friend.
Okay.
Sacrificing yourself for the sake of the case. Noted. And following along from a distance, Hewlett starts reading the journal to himself.
Okay. Oh, so you're following Roach.
Sort of at a bit of a distance. He's more, again, sort of following the clues, following this, because he's firmly convinced now that Roach is going to his death, and he wants to find out, you see, what this is about.
He wants to watch.
Yes, I always watch. Because this could be his next great case. So he's the case of the translucent boy.
As Roach is led off, and Hewlett sort of starts following behind, what are the rest of you doing?
Has Hewlett just won the tournament in our
Hewlett is tapping their foot, very impatiently, and wondering when this is all gonna.
I'd love to think that we turn around and they're just there with a massive pile of other people's hats on their head, just surrounded by bodies of unconscious people.
So, Hewlett, after a couple of minutes of waiting to sort of for your next opponent to come up, the ringmaster does approach you and says, "I'm very sorry with all that disturbance. I think we're going to take a short break. You're welcome to compete tomorrow. We've got 3 days left of the festival."
Oh, all right then. I'll go and see what all this commotion was all about.
All right. So, am I right in assuming you're all kind of following along at a varying pace?
Yes.
Yeah, Ruby's just a little concerned that, like, obviously this child grabbed her arm and then all these guys bundled in and just basically killed the child, brought it back slightly, and now we're just so she's just going to make sure that everyone's okay.
All right.
And stole from the child. Don't forget, I stole.
Oh yes, you the child as well. It's going really well for him today, isn't it?
Okay.
God is hoping that the child will lead him to other criminal children who could be justly punished.
Exactly.
Okay. So as you make your way out of the crowds of the Festival of Fancy Hats, sort of following along at varying distances, Hewlett, you begin to read this diary, and you come across some quite interesting information, and that is going to be a good place to take a break, folks, I think. Tales from the TwentySide
is a Feagle Films production
In association with Juicy Falls.
Music from hooksounds.com.
Editing by Stu Jackson.
Find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching Tales from the 20 Side.
Or by visiting talesfromthe20side.com.
presume we're off air, yeah?
No, not yet. We are still live.
Everyone's just packing up. So
Yeah.
we're off air.
We're all going home.
Time to get naked.
So we are going to take a break, folks. We'll be back in hopefully about 5 minutes. Go and get yourself a drink, get yourself a snack, whatever you want to do, and we will see you all very shortly.
Toilet!
In a bit.
Good toilet.
Battle toilet.
Toilet.